welcome to this edition of Inside the PCS Classroom. I'm Chastity Downing. During our recent district-wide training session, we were pleased to have as a guest speaker Bill Madigan. He is a recently retired Avid staff developer from California. We think what he had to say should be of considerable interest to classroom teachers throughout Pinellas County schools. With that in mind, here's the recent presentation at Oak Grove Middle School.
My primary interest grew from teaching students who were challenging or difficult to me, and they're the ones who sent me on my own mission to find out how do I work with students who I find challenging or different from me, and how do I learn from them so that I can become a better teacher, okay? This led me into neuroscience, which I've been studying off and on, actually fairly intensively for about 20 years. And it's a neat time because I know most of us were taught that we all have a certain number of brain cells, and that those brain cells die when you smoke cigarettes or drink Pinot Noir, okay? And those two things are true. But the fact is you keep getting new brain cells all the way until your last few minutes of breathing. They actually have imaging that shows in a 78-year-old woman that she's growing new brain cells because they gave her a task to trouble over for a few days, and they can actually see those cells sticking around. Because what happens in the hippocampal area is these two little fingers that kind of stick out. That's where the new brain cells come in. They're generated every day, thousands of them. Unless you do something challenging and difficult and stick with it, those cells just kind of they just fade away. So you can have actually more brain cells as you grow. Einstein, his left parietal lobe was gigantic. If you ever see his brain, a photograph, this side looks lopsided. It's because he did so much math so long. It grew that thing, okay? So you can actually by study and hard work, you can be more dense. So this is my essential question. This is what I'm going to try to answer in this interaction with you guys. You're going to be part of it. What are and how can I create positive attachment-based developmental relationships? Okay, what I want you to do is, first of all, I want to say, try as best you can to authentically engage with this material. Otherwise, you'll be like I've been too many times when I've been forced to do an Avid thing. And I go, I didn't learn a damn thing. It's because I wasn't authentically involved, right? Nothing will happen here unless you are, okay? So, a question I want you to think of, when did you ever have a negative experience with a teacher or educational leader? And I want you to consider when you were in school. So, preschool all the way up to senior in college. And usually the first memory that comes up is a good one. Right? And I want you to just think about that negative experience, like what happened, that kind of thing, okay? You might come up with a multiple one, like I'm going to have you guys talk in a minute when you hear the other person, oh, that happened to me too. The next question I want you to trouble over is, why did you do better with teachers you loved or felt connected to? Why? Don't just go, oh, it felt good. That's big, by the way. But what else? What else did they do, okay? So, when did you have a negative experience, and when did you have a positive one, and what was going on in there? Okay. Okay, I want you to turn to a non-threatening partner and share those two things out. Start with negative, and then go to the positive. Go ahead. One of the things I wanted to do is experience what I'm about to teach them. That way, they're more receptive to whatever the research is. Too many people start out, here's the research, I'm going to tell you, and the people are not in a place where it really kind of sinks in or they can make it their own. When you ask them their own personal experience, and that experience has some emotive elements to it, when they listen to the research that I show after they discuss their own lives, then they actually access and really take part in that research. And if you'd seen them, like you can see it on their faces, they're going, yeah. They're really, the engagement and the attachment they have to the research is much more amplified when they start out with their own personal experience related to it first.